Welcome to Back Cup, a game by Beatriz Álvarez and Pablo Miras, with artwork by Ramsés Bosque and Pablo Miras, and published by Mystical Games. Back Cup is a competitive board game where you will compete in heart-stopping races in magical racetracks inspired by the alchemical Crystal Quest universe. Drive amazing race cars and perform all kinds of crazy maneuvers and attacks with powerful weapons and traps to win the race. Choose one of the 6 racetracks available and set it up at the center of the table. Each circuit has different characteristics. For this tutorial, we will use the Magic Island racetrack. Choose the number of laps for the race and place the lap marker on the board's lap track. If this is your first time playing, 2 laps will be enough for a 45-minute game. Choose one of the 6 pilots available and take its race car sheet. Car sheets keep track of the status of your race car at all times. You may control your brakes, your nitros, and the status of your car's body and wheels. Take your 22 pilot cards with the back of the same color as your driver and place them next to your race car. Separate your turbo card and shuffle the rest. Place your pilot card deck face down and the turbo card face up next to your race car. To determine the starting grid, take the weather cards corresponding to the number of players. For example, for 3 players, cards 1 to 3. For 6 players, 1 to 6. Deal 1 weather card for each player, and the number will determine their position in the starting grid. Place the first player's card miniature on the inner space of the grid, and following players on the adjacent lanes, in starting order. If the circuit does not have enough lanes for all players, continue on the second row of the starting grid. The first player takes the starting player token and places it next to their race car. Separate all weather tokens by the icons on their backs, thus creating 4 different face-down piles, their numbers hidden. Shuffle all weather cards and draw one. This will be the initial weather for the race. Place the weather marker over the space of the board that shows the appropriate weather icon. Place 1 weather token of the right type on each curved sign of the racetrack. Each player receives 10 crystals, and the rest are left next to the board, creating a crystal reserve. Divide all other tokens by type, and each player takes 3 spike trap tokens, 2 nail tokens, 4 explosions, and 4 broken shield tokens. Shuffle the damage cards and leave them forming a face-down pile next to the board. Separate the red and green cubes in 2 piles, and the hard and soft tire tokens too. Now it's time to prepare your car for the race. The first step is buying tires. You can choose between soft and hard tires. The soft tires will help you when entering curves, but they will blow with the first impact. By paying 2 crystals, you can play 4 soft tires in the appropriate tire spaces of your race car sheet. Hard tires have a higher price, but are more resistant. By paying 4 crystals, you can place a total of 8 hard tire tokens, 2 in each of the appropriate spaces of your race car sheet. During the race, you will need to use brakes and nitros to modify your speed and dodge the obstacles you'll encounter. You can buy as many brakes and nitros as you desire by paying 1 crystal for each of them, which you can then place on your race car sheet. Once this is done, we're ready to start. The game is played in rounds, where each player will play their turn by advancing their race car on the track and attacking their opponents. The turn order is determined by the car's position in the race. In the event of a tie, the car closer to the inner lane will go first. At the beginning of each round, all players draw the first 3 cards of their pilot deck, then secretly choose the card they want to play on their turn, and discard the rest. At the start of your turn, flip your pilot card so that everyone can see your current speed and weapons. You must always move forward on the racetrack. In addition, you may perform 1 action at any time, if you want, even in the middle of your movement. The left side of your pilot card indicates how many spaces you must move this turn. Your movement value will vary according to the number of damaged tires in your car. Tires are considered damaged when there are no tire tokens on their spaces of the race car sheet. It is mandatory to use all movement points from your card and to always move forward. You may also move diagonally by spending an extra movement point. even within a curve. If you move diagonally when you are behind a rival's car, you will draft, spending only one movement point. During your movement, you may spend a brake cube to reduce by 1 the movement value of your pilot card. You can also spend a nitro cube to add 1 movement to your pilot card. You may spend brakes and nitros any way you want during your turn. In addition, you may spend 2 movement points at any time to pull the handbrake, which will end your movement immediately. Your car spins out and you have an unexpected breakdown. Your car can spin out for a number of reasons, but in all cases it will turn on the track, facing the opposite direction, and your movement ends. Even if your car spins out, you will still be able to perform your action if you haven't already. You will have to pay 1 movement point at the start of your next turn to turn your race car back in the direction of the race. Some movements, such as pulling the handbrake or falling into potholes, cause unexpected breakdowns on your car. Before you continue moving or taking actions, draw the first card of the damage deck. Apply the damage in the area of your car indicated by the number 1 of the damage card. If that part is already damaged, check your parts in order as indicated by the damage card until you can apply the damage. Every curve on the track has a maximum G-force value that your car cannot surpass to enter a curve safely, according to the current weather. When you enter the first square of a curve, the G-force value of your pilot card cannot exceed the curve's G-force value, or your car will spin out. If you are using soft tires, you're in luck. These tires have better grip and allow you to exceed by 1 the G-force value of curves. Another way to avoid spinning out in a curve is using brakes to reduce your G-force by 1. If your movement speed forces you to enter into an occupied square, or the effect of an attack throws you against another opponent, your movement ends behind your opponent. The front of your car body will take damage. If that was already damaged, you will lose a front tire, and a rear one in case those are also damaged. The impacted rival spins out. At any point of your turn, before, during, or after your movement, you may use your action to attack a rival with one of the weapons shown in your pilot card. The card will tell you the type of weapon, its range, and where it will hit your rival. Each weapon has unique features that we will see later. When you deem appropriate, announce your attack, and check that the attack's range and direction are correct. Also check that the section of your race car from where you are attacking is in good condition. Otherwise, you may not carry out the attack. The opponent's car receives damage in the direction of the attack. If you receive damage in the car body, place an explosion token to indicate that said section is damaged. If you receive damage on a tire, remove 1 tire token from the appropriate section. Some pilot cards show shields instead of weapons. If your pilot card has shields when you receive an attack, you can use them and avoid the damage. Each shield section only works once. After receiving a hit, place a broken shield token next to the attack part. In the case of weapons inflicting double damage, like bombs, the first damage will destroy the shield, and the second will be applied normally to the corresponding part of your race car. These are the weapons you will find. Place them on the track as indicated by your pilot card, or use them against an adjacent rival directly. When a race car steps on nails, it suffers 1 damage to a front wheel, or a rear one if the front wheels are damaged. After this, the nail token is removed from the game. Place your 3 spike trap tokens in the 3 squares next to your car, right behind your car's figure. When a car steps on a spike trap, it suffers 1 damage to each front wheel, or the rear wheels if the front wheels are damaged. After this, the spike trap token is removed from the game. It can clear nails or spike trap tokens adjacent to your race car. It also prevents damage if someone throws nails at your race car. Does 1 damage to a rival of your choice in your same lane. Shoot in one direction of your choice from those available in your card. Cause 1 damage to all cars in that direction. Causes 2 damages instead of 1. In addition to causing 1 damage, you push your rival in the available direction of your choice, moving them in that direction. Swaps the position of your race car with the car of a rival. When it hits, it deals 1 damage to the car body of an adjacent rival. Attack your rival's wheels and cause double damage. Lets you pin on a curve's G-force sign to modify it by placing a +2 or -1 token next to the weather token. This token remains on the track until a race car spins out on that curve or someone crosses the starting grid. This is a special card that you may play in your turn when you are in the last position of the race. The movement speed of this card depends on the weather, not on your car's tires. When using your turbo card, you won't have to worry about the G-force and curves, and every part of your race car will be shielded. If your car loses all its tires, you will be disqualified from the race. To avoid this, you can repair your car during the race to help you reach the finish line. Each time you enter a checkpoint square, you can spend your action to repair one of the damaged parts of your race car. Repairing a part of the car's body will cost 2 crystals, while fixing a tire costs 1 crystal. If you are in the starting grid, you may also spend your action to buy brakes or nitro cubes for 1 crystal each. During the race, you can earn crystals in the following ways. Win 1 crystal when a character receives damage from one of your attacks, or from a trap that you have placed. Win 1 crystal each time you cross a checkpoint. Win as many crystals as your current position in the race each time you cross the starting grid. Every time the race leader crosses a checkpoint, reshuffle the weather deck and draw 1 card. If the climate changes, remove the G-force tokens from the track and replace them with those of the new weather. These special squares modify the general rules of the game. Mucus. When you enter this square, your vehicle is stopped, losing the rest of your movement. You must spend a movement point to exit this square at the start of your next turn. Oil. If you move into this square, your race car will spin out. Arrows. If your car enters a square with an arrow in a curve, your next move must be to the square indicated by the arrow. Pothole. Falling into a pothole will end your movement immediately, and you will have to draw an unexpected breakdown card. Colored icons. When your car is on a colored square, you must move to the next square of the same color in the track, spending 1 movement point. The game ends when a race car crosses the finish line once the lap marker has reached 0. The player driving that car is the winner of the game. The race may also finish when all but one of the pilots have been disqualified.